In the summer of 1952, Marilyn Monroe was in Niagara Falls shooting the movie simply titled Niagara. Released a year later, this was the movie that made her a star. In the film, there's this moment where she walks away from the camera, wiggling her behind. This was considered provocative in 1953. Finding this movie location was fairly easy, even though the whole area's changed in 70 years. And I got my kids to recreate the shot. Okay, go! Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle! That's not a wiggle!
Everything I need is on the ground. On the ground. Everything I need is on the ground.
So you've decided to visit Toronto, Canada. Okay. Like all world-class cities, there's a lot to see and do, and I'll show you some of the sights. Toronto is my hometown. I was born here. This is my childhood home, my first school, my high school. I was married here, where my kids were born. I live in Scarborough, a suburb 30 minutes from downtown. I know most tourists aren't going to make it out here, but there's a few noteworthy places. Animal lovers will appreciate the zoo. You can come see the giant pandas if it was 2017. But they've got plenty of other animals, monkeys, penguins, jellyfish. Fans of the movie The Santa Claus can visit the site of the Denny's that was seen in the movie. In real life, this was an actual Denny's for many years, now a supermarket. In Scarborough, you can visit our Civic Centre and walk in the steps of the great Canadian Terry Fox, who visited the centre in 1980 during his run across Canada. The Civic Centre was designed by the late Raymond Moriyama, whose buildings you can see all over the city. There are a number of schools in Scarborough he designed as well. I'll show you a couple more of his creations later on. In Scarborough, you can see the house where the hockey player Tim Horton used to live. He was the founder of the Tim Hortons coffee chain, of course. We joke about there being a Timmy's every 500 meters or so, but it's not that much of an exaggeration. Another uniquely Canadian restaurant you can visit is Swiss Chalet, if you're in the mood for rotisserie chicken. Swiss Chalet is known for their dipping sauce, a very divisive food item here in Canada. Personally, I like it, but your results may vary. Opinions range from delicious to what is this ungodly horse piss? If chain restaurants are not your thing, no problem at all. You don't have to go very far in Toronto to find something to your liking. I like Shawarma Empire a lot. Ami's has some great Indian cuisine. If the top of this building looks familiar, it was a KFC for many years, one of the first in the city. Colonel Sanders himself once visited this location. The Colonel actually lived in Canada the last 15 years of his life, here in this house in a West End suburb. At the foot of Birchmount Road is Birchmount Stadium. This stadium was referenced in the last line of the Barenaked Ladies song, 1 Week. Let's listen to a clip.
Birchmount Stadium, home of the Robbie.
Now, the Robbie is an annual soccer tournament that takes place here, but what they're actually referencing is the sign that used to be here. The sign actually said Birchmount Stadium, home of the Robbie. True story. I could spend hours and hours just on the sights of Scarborough, but let's turn to the downtown core. Bloor Street is the unofficial dividing line between Toronto and the suburbs. Most of the well-known Toronto landmarks are south of Bloor. The CN Tower is, of course, our most famous tourist trap. You can get some nice views of the city. And no, you can't see the mist of Niagara Falls on a clear day. I've never seen it. I don't know anyone who's ever seen it. You can brave the glass floor and look straight down 1,000 feet. That's always fun and disorienting. At the foot of the tower is Ripley's Aquarium. You can get a discounted price if you visit both the tower and the aquarium. It's true. When you're downtown, you might walk through the ever-present pungent cloud of marijuana smoke. The cloud moves around, but if you're lucky, you might get a whiff. The downtown core is a great place to visit movie and TV locations. Fans of Kim's Convenience can visit the store used for exterior shots. The owners have kept the signage used in the show, but the name of the store is officially Mimi Variety. But this location was not the store the creators based their show on. It was based on Bob's Convenience at Dundas and Parliament Streets. At nearby Nathan Phillips Square, you can take a photo in front of our, I want to say famous, but I'm not sure how famous, City Hall building. The square itself has seen many events, celebrations, and protests. Here are just a few productions shot in and around the square.
Everybody stand back.
Sorry. Do we let him put him in that truck?
A short walk from Nathan Phillips Square, you'll find other TV and movie locations.
Seems to be New York City. 21st
I told you my license is in my...
I can recommend a good therapist. Need a victim, a mind to pry apart.
There's a lot of cops around.
When I'm downtown, I will often indulge in a hot dog. I'm a big fan, I highly recommend them. Did you know one of Toronto's nicknames is Hogtown? Millions of pigs met their end in our city over the last 150 years. The last pig slaughtered in Toronto was in 2014. Let's make a stop at the Art Gallery of Ontario. I always enjoy coming here with the family. In recent years, I saw paintings by Frida Kahlo and Georgia O'Keeffe. I visited with my son one time, and a painting by Haim Soutine called Piece of Beef caught his eye. 10 years later, we saw a similar painting by the same artist at the Musée de l'Orangerie in Paris. There's lots to take in at the AGO. Henry Moore sculptures, works by Emily Carr and the Group of Seven. But it's the modern art that always interests and confuses me because I don't know what any of it is supposed to mean. In past visits, there was the roller coaster bed, pile of sand, emergency exit. There was this exhibit as well, a wall of yearbook-style photos and then a rotary phone in the middle of the room. What does it mean? Boo! There's music playing. Oh, what song is this? It's Hey Paula. It's an oldies song, 1961, 62? That's it. It's Hey Paul, Hey Paula. I want to marry you, something like that. Back in the old days, you would pick up the receiver and then you'd wait for a dial tone. And then you'd just dial 7 numbers because you didn't need to dial the area code. So, my old phone number when I was a child, 4 6 6 6 5 8 0. That was my childhood phone number that I still remember for some reason. And that's the Bata Shoe Museum, another building designed by Raymond Moriyama. And I know what you're thinking, shoe museum? Really? Well, I mean, if you're into history, if you're into shoes, it's the history of shoes. Inside you'll find ancient shoes from 5,000 years ago, moon boots, the first Air Jordans, shoes worn by spies, and so much more. Toronto's Union Station, which sees a staggering 200,000 passengers a day, is used very often as a movie and TV location.
I wouldn't say a lot.
Me. You know where that is? Where?
Why would anyone want to read a book written by a passenger?
Have you seen Benny? Yeah, I saw him on the conference.
Passenger hall, please report to the information desk, North Concourse.
Great! We've got 10 minutes. I'll get the tickets. Just wait right here.
Don't get the tickets and it's goodbye, George.
If you're interested in looking at dinosaur bones, there's the Royal Ontario Museum, the largest museum in Canada, with tons of exhibits from Egypt, the Middle Ages, and the Renaissance. I've come here many times with the family over the years. And that's the Michael Lee Chin crystal. This was an addition to the existing Royal Ontario Museum building, opened about 15 years ago, and according to some South of Bluers, it's an architectural abomination. Most of us don't care, but it's always funny to hear the South of Bluers complain about the Michael Lee Chin crystal. The ROM has appeared in many productions. Here's Nico walking in the footsteps of Lawrence Fishburne from the show Hannibal. The ROM also appeared in an episode of the kids' show Zaboomafoo.
Hey guys!
Hey, Jackie, how you doing?
But maybe you're thinking, I don't care about 2,000-year-old serving bowls. Then perhaps the Hockey Hall of Fame is more to your liking. You can pose with the Stanley Cup, or a replica in my case, as the true cup was out on tour. You can walk through the Habs dressing room. There are seats from the original 6 arenas. There's a tribute to Bill Barilko. The last goal he ever scored in overtime won the Leafs the Cup in 1951. The Hall of Fame also has some interactive exhibits. You can pretend to be a goalie and try to stop some shots, or you can take some shots yourself. My prediction was correct. I scored no goals, but all my shots were at least on net. Across the street from the Hockey Hall of Fame is Meridian Hall, formerly the Sony Center for the Arts, formerly the Hummingbird Center, and originally the O'Keefe Center. If you go to the back of the building, on a street called the Esplanade, you can visit the place where dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov defected in 1974. He was performing at the O'Keefe with the Bolshoi Ballet, and it was roughly in this spot on the Esplanade where a car was waiting for him. Baryshnikov's co-star in the 1985 movie White Nights, the late actor and dancer Gregory Hines, is laid to rest in a Toronto suburb. I was a big fan of his ever since he appeared in History of the World Part 1. This is one of my favorite moments when a Roman centurion yells, "Seize him!"
Seize him! Oh, seize this, honkus.
No! Don't ever say that to the cops!
Seize him!
Anytime I hear "seize him," it reminds me of Gregory Hines. And it comes up more often than you think.
Seize him.
Seize him! Seize him!
Seize him!
Seize him! Seize him!
There are a lot of celebrity graves in Toronto. Frederick Banting and Charles Best, the two who get the most credit for discovering insulin, are buried close to each other. This is the resting place of the pianist Glenn Gould. This is the original drummer for Rush, John Rutsey. And the comic duo of Wayne and Schuster, whom I loved to watch when I was a kid, are buried in the same cemetery in Scarborough. If you're in town and you want to make a charcuterie board, check out the St. Lawrence Market on Front Street. Lots of cured meats. A short walk from there, right beside the Subway sandwich, is the Museum of Illusions. It has interactive optical illusions and puzzles. There's a forced perspective room, which is fun. Some illusions can be dizzying, like the tilted room.
No. I don't like it. It's dizzying.
Go. Oh!
I already feel nauseous.
Yeah, right?
I think it's the pattern.
Oh, take it easy.
Upside down streetcar. Take a picture. You take it upside down. Alright, now look at that.
Then there's the vortex room. The camera might not capture it, but the entire room feels like it's spinning. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no no! Oh! Alright? Oh, everything's spinning! Did you know Toronto is sometimes called Hollywood North? Here are a few more productions shot here in the Big Smoke.
Hey, yo, you dropped your bag!
Oh, God, I can't breathe. Open the door. Please be a good dog. Good dog. Ooh, you big old bat.
In My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the home of the Portocalos family was this house in East York. It's been completely renovated and doesn't resemble the house in the movie anymore. The next door neighbor's house, though, seen in the last shot of the movie, hasn't changed. On the University of Toronto campus, there's this location from the show Fringe. Victoria College has this moment from PCU. And the angry mob from the same movie was done here outside the Edward Johnson building. Whitney Hall was where this scene from Good Will Hunting was shot. And Hart House is where you can find this scene from Tommy Boy. Hart House was also where I starred in the classic 1986 horror film, The Balls of Montezuma, where an evil rubber ball was chasing me for some unknown reason. If you're in the Midtown area, you might drive past 1063 Avenue Road. This is the fabled house that Martin Short and Eugene Levy rented in the 1970s. Many future SNL and SCTV stars used to hang around this house. When you're downtown, you might pass by my former employer for 15 years, the legendary radio stations Chum and Chum FM. Chum FM dropped the FM from their on-air branding a few years ago, And this was my reaction when I drove past the famous Chum sign.
I'm sorry, but I'm never calling Chum FM Chum. All right, Chum is 1050 Chum. Chum FM is 104.5.
Fans of the show Degrassi Junior High and all its various prequels and sequels can visit the real Degrassi Street in the Riverdale neighborhood. You can take a photo under a street sign, I guess, if you're a big enough fan. Fans of Drake and his Degrassi character Jimmy Brooks can go see the outside of Drake's house in the Bridle Path area. I'm sure he'd love to see you. Near the corner of Church Street and the Esplanade, you'll find an original Banksy artwork on the wall, framed behind glass to keep idiots from ruining it. Around the corner is the old Spaghetti Factory if you're looking for a family restaurant. I have a lot of great memories here. Nearby is 57 Adelaide Street East, the former Adelaide Courthouse, and now home to Terroni Trattoria. If you go around to the back of this building, you'll find Courthouse Square, site of the last public execution in Canada in 1905. I am now off to the Lower Bay Street subway platform. This is only open to the public once a year at an open house event. Before these open houses, the Lower Bay Street platform was this mythical place that no one ever saw, but everyone said existed. It's a disused subway platform that is now a shooting location for dozens of movies. It was a real treat to finally get to see this place.
Thank you very much.
Okay, final group of movie and TV locations. Let's go to Roy Thompson Hall, which can be seen in the show The Boys as the lower floors of the fictional Vought Tower. Outside Roy Thompson Hall, you will also find Canada's Walk of Fame, honoring Canadians in the arts, sports, and other fields. This tile honors the late actor Shirley Douglas. I met her once at work, just a wonderful, lovely lady. Here are some downtown locations from Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, featuring the world-famous skateboarder Tony Hawk. Scenes from this movie were also shot at the Woodbine Centre, a mall near the airport.
Skateboard punk.
The Freshman from 1990 also shot scenes at this mall. Matthew Broderick and Frank Whaley run around the mall looking for an escaped Komodo dragon. Back downtown for more locations from the movie Red, shot at the Toronto Reference Library.
Those numbers on Stephanie Chan's postcard are actually common.
The Weeknd shot the video for his song Secrets here as well. This is another Raymond Moriyama building. This holds great memories for me as a place I often came to in high school to research assignments and projects. Back then, when we got bored, we would throw paper airplanes from the 5th floor of the atrium and see if we could get them to reach the bottom floor. I don't recommend that today. There are a lot more security people walking around than I remember. As an aside, another library I went to was the Robarts Library at the U of T. The public library was on strike in my senior high school year. The Robarts Library is only open to U of T students, but I had assignments due, so at least twice I snuck into this library. Others my age were sneaking into bars and clubs. I was sneaking into libraries. You can't stop me from learning. Who the do you think you are? Anyway, the 1980 horror film Prom Night was shot in and around Don Mills Collegiate in North York. In front of the main entrance, that's Leslie Nielsen, who drives Jamie Lee Curtis to school. At the same front entrance, the killer comes staggering out of the school in the final scene and dies for some reason. My kids did a great job hamming it up to recreate this moment. Back downtown, and I am at Queen's Park, our provincial legislature. And on the front steps of the building, the album cover for Rush's Moving Pictures was shot. In the same area at Queen's Park, we find a location from a rare Canadian feature film from the 1960s called The Mask. This movie was featured in an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, they're driving through the downtown castle district.
It's not a castle in that shot, but the former Avenue Road Church, now the Hare Krishna Temple. Okay, 2 more locations, and I saved the most obscure productions I could possibly find for last. The first is I Am a Hotel, a 1983 TV special starring Leonard Cohen, a series of songs and imagery shot in the King Edward Hotel. I can't say I understand what's going on in this program, but I always enjoyed watching it. Last movie is from 1966 called The Scribe, starring silent film legend Buster Keaton in one of his last roles. This is actually a safety film. Keaton runs around a construction site causing trouble. It was shot during the construction of the McDonald Block, a group of government offices at Bay and Wellesley. I couldn't place this location at first. I noticed this Art Deco building in the background, but couldn't figure out where it was. Eventually, I recognized it as the tower in the nearby Whitney Block, and was able to match up the details of those buildings with shots from the movie. I'm a huge fan of Keaton, so this was really cool. I used to live near the Danforth. It's always great to visit my old neighborhood to see what's changed, what stayed the same. Holy Name Church is where my parents were married and I was baptized. Maselli's supermarket is still there. The barber shop I got my hair cut, long gone. Then there's Jones Variety that was near my old house. But it wasn't called that when I lived there. It was Jim's Variety. Jim was a real person and his family moved away, but the name and signage of the store stayed for many years. Imagine my surprise when I watched the 1992 Nora Ephron film, This Is My Life, shot in Toronto. Julie Kavner's family is moving to New York in this scene, and immortalized in this one shot, right there, Jim's Variety. That's where I bought smokes for my dad when I was 7. My old neighborhood is not too far from downtown if you want to check it out. Part of that area is called Greektown if you're up for some Mediterranean cuisine. But Toronto being Toronto, there are tons of other choices as well. Just east of Greektown, you'll find some Ethiopian restaurants, including Rendezvous, which I enjoyed a lot. When you walk in, you'll see a mosaic on the floor of Italy, which is a funny statement they're making if you know the history. Dozens of people every day walking all over Italy. One place that's still around is Square Boy, same signage from 50 years ago. They've got some great burgers and fries here. When I last visited, I caught the tail end of a screaming argument between a black and Asian woman telling each other to go back to their country.
Where are you from? Where you from? Go yourself. That bitch. You too, you bitch.
Toronto, a special place. It's not funny, okay? They're both villains and victims. Let's start wrapping things up. This episode was just a sampling. There's a near endless number of things to see and do in the city. There's the film festival in September, the Canadian National Exhibition in August, Canada Day celebrations, the Toronto Caribbean Carnival, dozens of smaller festivals and events. I found this great quote about my hometown that sums it up perfectly. Toronto is both cosmopolitan and community-oriented, offering a blend of modern architecture, green spaces, and multicultural neighborhoods. Whether you're into arts, sports, or just enjoying city life, Toronto is a place that constantly evolves, keeping things fresh and full of opportunity. Thanks, ChatGPT. "90 minutes away from Toronto is Niagara Falls. I always enjoy my visits here. Been coming since I was a kid, and I have a lot of great memories. Yes, it's got the cheesy tourist area with its wax museums and stuff for the kids, but it's the beauty of the falls themselves which I always appreciate. There are a few attractions that let you get close to the falls themselves. There's Journey Behind the Falls, or the Niagara City Cruise on the river. The attraction I enjoy the most is the Cave of the Winds on the American side. You can stand on the hurricane deck and feel the force of the Bridal Veil Falls. Lots of fun. As far as movie locations go, Niagara is just one of dozens of films shot in the city. I showed you where Marilyn did her iconic wiggle off the top of the show, but there's another location just opposite the American Falls. The fictional rainbow cabins were built for the movie, but this stone gazebo seen in this shot was real and was one of two that stood by the riverfront. That one was torn down, but this one still exists nearby. When she was in town, Marilyn stayed at the Hotel General Brock, now the Crown Plaza, in room 801, which is still available to the public to stay in. The other movie location I was excited to visit is from Superman 2. Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve have a scene beside the railing near the brink of the Horseshoe Falls.
Hey, I'm hungry. You hungry?
And lastly, this episode's climb to the top of something. We tackle the Niagara Escarpment. Nico is dedicating this to his aunts Patricia and Brenda. All right, for this episode, we're going to try climbing up the Niagara Escarpment here in Niagara Falls. Now, the Niagara Escarpment is this ridge of land, starts in New York State, it goes to southern Ontario, ends up in Michigan. It was created during the last ice age through the process of glaciation. And we're going to see if we could climb up it. In some parts, it's a steep cliff, but here in Niagara Falls, it doesn't look too bad. And we're going to try to see if we could climb up the escarpment. At this point, we don't know if this is a good idea or even a safe idea. It might not be either of those things, but we're going to give it a try. What do you say, Nico?
Let's do it!
I think this is a bad idea. All right, I know the camera can't see it, but this is looks like a gully of some kind that goes up the hill. It's not as steep. So we're gonna try that because this section looks much steeper. So let's try this here. All right, that's not too bad.
Not so bad.
All right, we're at this big tree. We're gonna try to see if that's up.
I'm going under.
All right, go under.
Here we go.
Just be careful.
Lower than I thought.
All right, look at that. It almost looks doable.
Twist an ankle.
See how easy and fun this is?
It's wilderness.
What do you want to say to the people?
Don't do this.
Don't do this, yes. I think you see the top. It's not up here, it's just right here to the left. Okay, so that's where we're gonna head. Yeah, it's doable.
Look at how far we've come.
Good idea or bad idea?
So.
Yeah, okay. I think we lucked out. We found a spot. I think that's right up here.
Need a hand?
I'm good. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Now we just gotta push through this foliage. This foliage. 15 more meters, 20 meters to go.
Oh, but it's steep.
Yeah. Use your hands if you have to.
I might have to. Oh, there's cobwebs here.
Oh, no.
You can do it. I'm going. I have to keep my head low.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
We made it.
Okay, here we go. Ta-da! That wasn't too bright, but we had fun doing it. All right, best boy in the world. It's my son right there. Father and son doing dumb things together.
We climbed a hill.
We climbed a
in
hill.
a place where you're not supposed to climb hills.
Yay!